and his new bride, Princess Catherine. The royal couple will make the stop as part of their Canadian-American tour, which kicks off on June 30th. The Polo Club is hosting the match on July 9th, raising funds for the American Friends of the Foundation of Prince William and Prince Harry. VIP tickets to the Foundation Polo Challenge event run a hefty $4,000 and will include a celebrity chef luncheon. Prince William will play in one of the 3 teams participating, and Catherine Middleton will award the trophy to the winners. Former Ambassador Glenn Holden, a trustees member of the Polo Club board, talked about how he got the planet's most in-demand royals to make the cameo.
We're having our centennial celebration. The club will be 100 years old this year, and this is a wonderful big kickoff event. So about 2 years ago, I wrote a letter to Prince Charles and asked him if Prince William would be interested in coming over. I knew Prince Charles, so I started with him, and he wrote a note back and said the palace would be in touch with me, which they did, and then it just kind of continued on.
Event organizer Brian Worley said he was excited at the prospect of playing host to Will and Kate. The polo event is part of the royal couple's 3-day visit to Southern California. They're also scheduled to attend a glitzy dinner with the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, or BAFTA, as well as visit a children's center and meet military veterans and their families. The gracious seaside community of Santa Barbara has a history of hosting the royal family. Queen Elizabeth II made an official visit to Santa Barbara in 1983 as part of a tour of the western United States.
Hundreds of people filled the northern half of New York's Times Square on Tuesday to practice yoga. The event was called Mind Over Madness and celebrated the summer solstice.
It was a case of mind over madness. Hundreds of yogis descended on New York's Times Square to mark the summer solstice. The event celebrated sun, summer and creativity on the longest day of the year.
And it's an attempt on the longest day of the year, when the sun is shining brightest, to tap into that energy and to have it help carry us through the rest of the year. But it's also very much about how do you stay sane in the middle of our busy, desire-driven lives.
Attendees were challenged to find tranquility in the midst of the frenetic crossroads of the world. Tim Tompkins of the Times Square Alliance says it was no easy feat.
The challenge, and really what yoga is so much about, is about sort of nurturing your spirit, staying grounded, even as you are living a full life in the middle of the world. And there's no place where life is lived more fully than in the middle of a place like Times Square.
For Kenny Malik, it was a far cry from his regular yoga studio.
It's very different because in the studio it's quiet and you're able to really focus on each position here. There's a little bit more distractions, but it's also a beautiful day outside and there's a lot of good energy, so it's been a great day.
Caitlin Miller says for a minute, time seemed to stop in Times Square.
I think that's what makes it so amazing, is the energy of New York City, and for everyone to be doing one thing at the same time, it creates a great energy.
A moment of peace and serenity amid the hustle and bustle.
It's time for the last part of our show now. We're going to start with some robots made from scrap. The poor West African country of Togo is not the first place that springs to mind when considering the science of robotics. But one aspiring scientist is on a mission to change public perception. 19-year-old Sam Kodo has used the most rudimentary materials and his own skill to build 16 robots, and he's setting his sights even higher.
Meet Robert. He's the creation of 19-year-old Sam Kodo, a student of literature in Togo. So passionate about robotics, he's been building them for as long as he can remember, with whatever he can find.
My wish is to make a completely independent robot, capable of interacting with his environment, capable, for example, to serve coffee, run up and down the stairs, do crazy things. Today we have Honda's robot, Asimo. It's an autonomous robot. I get my inspiration from him.
Robert moves on a black line, aided by sensors Kodo's built himself.
In toys, you can also find certain little elements like transistors or microcontrollers. So for this particular robot, I took a microcontroller from a car which wasn't in use anymore. I reprogrammed it, and that's how it works.
All Kodo's previous constructions are used to make the next one. along with an assortment of parts from old radios or TV sets, car speakers, or anything else he can recycle. It's all held together with cardboard, plastic and plywood to create a robot that moves independently without any aid. His ultimate recycled robot would be able to calculate distances, run independently, and help him out with his daily chores, making other robots.
South Korea is showing off what it says is the world's first totally eco-friendly business building, a structure that emits zero carbon and uses only renewable energy. The project is designed to underline the government's stated commitment to reducing greenhouse gases.
The newly opened business centre in Incheon near Seoul is designed as a showcase for South Korea's drive to reduce carbon emissions. The building houses the country's National Institute of Environmental Research. The Institute's Lee Jae-bom says it's the world's first carbon zero office building and a symbol of what future construction must look like.
In South Korea, buildings are responsible for about 25% of greenhouse gas emission. Unless we cut this, it'll be difficult to achieve our goal of emissions reductions. And this is why the project to build this type of structure is very important in reducing emissions.
From the roof, which is covered by photovoltaic panels to harvest sunlight, to the basement where the geothermal heating system is housed, the building employs 66 different energy-saving technologies. The windows are triple glazed. Automatically adjusting blinds control the amount of sunlight coming in, while sensors in the ceiling monitor and respond to CO2 levels being emitted by workers as they breathe. When levels reach a predetermined point, the sensors trigger windows to open. Lee Jae-bom says the active and passive technologies working together will reduce CO2 emissions by 100 tonnes per year.
First of all, passive technologies are to minimise heat loss, such as super insulation and super windows and doors. Active technologies are to improve energy usage by 60% through a natural energy technology, such as geothermal heat, solar heat and sunlight.
Lee says the carbon zero building will play an important part in educating the public about energy-efficient building technology, all part of an aggressive strategy to create a greener future for South Korea.
Using high-speed X-ray video, scientists at Harvard University have shown that dogs, like cats, use an innate knowledge of physics to drink.
Matilda the dog and Putty the cat have something in common. When attacking a bowl of milk or water, they use the same lapping mechanism to draw liquid into their mouths. The only difference is that Matilda is a lot messier.
Lapping with both cats and dogs is like if you have a bowl of water and you put your hand on the bowl of water and you withdraw it rapidly, a column of water comes up with your hand. And that's essentially what both animals do.
Alfred Fuzz Crompton, a professor of biology at Harvard University, has devoted much of his time recently to studying the drinking mechanics of dogs, all in the name of science. He even published a paper that he says proves dogs and cats drink alike, but he says the story really starts with scientists at MIT. Last year, the researchers came to Crompton showing him their data detailing how cats use their tongues to draw liquid into their mouths. They claim that cats understand innately the relationship between inertia, which draws liquid up, and gravity, which draws it back down, and use that understanding to catch the optimal mouthful.
And I said, oh, that's nonsense, I don't believe it. But anyway, they showed me their data, and I said, no, you're quite right. And then that dropped away, and they then published their result. And in their result, they said, dogs don't lap like cats, dogs scoop their liquid. So we thought, well, I got a dog, let's go and look at it. So we did some both regular filming and high-speed X-ray filming to show, yes, they lap just like cats. Just they're messy though.
It may seem like a peculiar field of study, but for Fuzz Crompton, it's a labor of love. He's been studying how animals eat and drink for more than 40 years, and now, thanks to Matilda, he can cross dogs off his list.
Chicago's Adler Planetarium is about to open what it says is an immersive space experience like no other in the world. Called Deep Space Adventure, it will take passengers aboard a futuristic starship for a virtual tour of the universe.
The Adler Planetarium has recreated the entire universe inside a dome the size of a small movie theater. Located in downtown Chicago, the planetarium will soon unveil the most technologically advanced space show ever designed.
It's going to be really exciting. For the first time, people will feel that they're flying through space. They'll be on the observation deck of an imaginary starship and flying through the universe and witnessing up close and personal the collision of and merging of two galaxies, or the explosion of a star as it goes supernova, or they'll see the black hole in the center of our galaxy consuming a nearby star.
Paul Knappenberger, the president of the Adler, says visitors will feel as though they are suspended in space as they travel from galaxy to galaxy.
The dome is more than 180 degrees and it surrounds you. Because the technology that's in there produces images on the dome that are the highest resolution ever produced, 8K by 8K. You'll have this, which is a better image than your eye can actually resolve. So you'll have the sensation that this is real, that you're in real space.
The planetarium can project images like those captured by the Hubble telescope with more than 5 times the clarity of an average movie theater. The system uses 83 computers and 20 digital projectors, all working simultaneously to produce each frame of video. Knappenberger says he hopes the new planetarium will inspire people to explore and study astronomy. He and his colleague, Chief Technology Officer Doug Roberts, also want to open it up for professional stargazers.
Our limitation right now is our connection to the outside world. We have all this infrastructure internally, but we have a very small bandwidth to the outside world. So the next step is really to get a huge pipe such that we can connect in with research networks.
I believe that scientists who are doing the research will actually come here with their data sets and want to see them on this remarkable dome through this remarkable projection system, which is unmatched anywhere in the world. It will give them views in 3D as you move through their data sets to get a sense of what the real universe is like.
When it opens this July, Paul Knappenberger is hoping that visitors from all over the world will come to the Adler for an experience that he says is truly out of this world.
Well, that wraps up our show today. We'll have more for you again next week. Remember to watch Life's Good with me, Sid and Kitchuk, every Sunday only on 6 News. Don't forget to tune in.